backing it out though. Okay, how do you know? Well, there's gonna be some tension on that. And eventually as you bring this back, you're gonna feel that tension just get to the point where this thing is just loose. Then you're done. If you keep going, it'll fall out, like we showed you earlier. So as soon as you feel that it's just floppy and loose, then you're good. Okay, if there's any tension on there, you just back it off a little bit longer. And then the last step, number 14, coil up the hose. Coil or wrap up the hose. So if I put it away just like this, got the hose laying there on the floor, you don't pass the test. You have a tripping hazard, number one. More importantly, number two, if I trip on this or catch this, is there a chance that I could tip this whole cart open? Yes. Valve stem breaks off, right? Now you've got a huge problem. So, or it could tear it loose. Let's say you're working out here, someone walks by, catches that, and it tears it off the connection or something like that. Okay, so just make sure that you take the time to wrap that hose up. It doesn't have to be all pretty or anything. It's got to be so the hose is off the floor. You'd look at me and you would hope that I give you the thumbs up, right? Everything's good. If you do it in that order like that, you would get the thumbs up. Okay, now let me show you some mistakes because I want you to also be able to identify when things are wrong. Now we're going to repeat things, and this is already started my review process. Okay, so now you can kind of see how quick in real time how things are going to go. So I'm going to crack open my acetylene cylinder valve a quarter turn. I'm going to open my acetylene torch valve a quarter turn. I'm going to adjust my regulator to a working pressure of 5. I'm going to close my acetylene torch valve. I'm going to slowly open up our oxygen cylinder valve. I'm going to open it up all the way. I'm going to open my oxygen torch valve a quarter turn. I'm going to adjust the regulator to a working pressure of 5, and I'm going to close my oxygen torch valve. Pretty quick, right? And you're going to do this like all the time, just quick, quick, quick. And you even have an advantage back in the booth. You don't even have to crack open the torch, the cylinder valves, because they're outside. So you're just going to open up the main valves, and that's all you have to worry about. Okay, and when we get to that part, we'll investigate that a little bit more. So now let's go ahead and light this up, and we'll take a look at that adjustment of the acetylene. So we open our acetylene torch valve a quarter turn, and can you see that there's a disconnect between the torch and the flame? I just have too much acetylene right now, and if I have way too much, it just won't light. It'll just keep putting itself out. See that black smoke? Okay. Now I'm going to adjust it to what it should look like. We're right about in that range. Okay. I can't completely get rid of the black smoke, but I got most of it. Okay, that's what we're looking for. If we go too far, can you hear how aggressive that is? You're not going to be able to control that. You're not going to get a neutral flame. Now, one of the tricks that I'll be able to share with you when we start to actually light this for real and get the neutral flame is you can make this a hotter or cooler torch depending on some of your settings here. Okay, a little more smoke. It's a little cooler, a little less smoke, it's a little hotter. So you don't always have to switch the tip. And there is a fine line you can work within just a little bit. At this point, I would slowly open my oxygen torch valve. We would see this change, and I would start to shrink that feather down into the cone and make my neutral flame. Okay? Then it's time to wrap up. I would close my acetylene torch valve. I'm going to close my oxygen torch valve. It's all back down again. Okay, now this part I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to see if you can catch what it is. If you do catch it, don't say anything. Okay, but this is where people will make a mistake and then I give them an opportunity to fix it. Okay, so now we're going to start wrapping things up again. Okay, we're going to start closing shop here. So we're getting everything shut down. We get our pressures out. Close the torch valves, wrap up the hose, and I'm done. But I'm not done. Because if I was truly done, what would I see on my regulator? Zero. I'd see zeros on both working pressure and cylinder pressure. So something's not right here. And I kind of was trying to be a little sleight of hand as I went through. I was doing stuff kind of quick. But this could be a problem. Okay, this is a pretty typical problem if you're, get ahead of yourself. So you're standing in front of this thing going, oh, all right, I got zeros on one side, not the other. So then usually, when I look at the person, I'll say, well, you're close, and they know what the problem is, and they grab their torch, and they open these back up, hoping for a miracle. Okay, nothing's coming out. Then they usually start all over, and they start opening things back up again, because they're just kind of scratching at what it could be. So let me share with you all what the problem is, so that if you do find yourself in this position, you know how to fix it. So what you've done to yourself right now is you've trapped gas inside the regulator. Okay, there's no gas in the line, but there's gas trapped in here. And the reason that you did that was you didn't follow that procedure. Okay, started backing off regulator screws before all the pressures were released. Okay, you noticed how on one of them I closed the cylinder valve. Okay, and then I backed off the regulator. On this one, I backed the regulator off first, then I closed the valve. Either way, you're going to screw that up, okay? Because I had pressure still in the line before I backed out that regulator screw. So, if you find yourself in this situation, it's a super easy fix. You take your regulator screw, you tighten it back down again. You see how the pressure's changed in here? When you're doing this, if you have your torch valves open, you'll hear that gas escape. So now I can do the oxygen side. Okay, that's how much gas was inside the regulator. Once I find, there we go. Make sure I close my torch valves again. Now I can back my regulator out and wrap my hose up. So when you get to the part of taking it down, everybody's really cautious about the setup and the lighting. Then we get to the tear down and we get a little bit kind of quick through it. Like, finally got the thing lit. I made my neutral flame. He gave me the thumbs up. And now I'm taking it back down. This is going to be easy. And then we start going a little too fast through it. That regulator screw is the last thing that you worry about. Okay, and then wrap your hose up and you'll do just fine. All right, any questions about the setup, lighting the torch, the tear down? The parts, the equipment? Okay. Why don't you go ahead and put those away?